Certainly the best.
A lovely Monday morning, and big thanks to you from every part of the world where you're watching. Welcome on board the ultimate news and current affairs program on television, TMI on the ITV network. I'm Sonny Duke Okosun. As always, I'm blessed to have with me two delectable, beautiful, intelligent, and amazing ladies, Chukwufunanya Adigwe, and of course, Anuoluakbo Stevens. Thank you for joining us in the show. Now, we're just coming back from one of these days. Last week I saw World Happiness Day, and I was like, wow, interesting. How will such a day be celebrated in a country like Nigeria? And then before the dust on that could settle into my mind, I came in contact with these videos that have been trending. First, I didn't want to believe it. The Ozoro madness, the Ozoro horror, which, you know, by every word you can use to describe it, is one of the horrendous things I've heard of or have seen since I became an adult. I mean, these are the kind of things you hear in prehistoric age, or maybe the Stone Age. If you ever did history, there was a time in history during the early men. You look at the evolution of men when they would use stones to strike and produce fire, and then those kind of, I mean, you can just imagine such things happening then. But to think that in this day, time and age, such a thing exists, I mean, it beats me hollow. Ladies.
It does exist and it's happening. In fact, just like you said, some videos did erupt from, you know, the one that went down in Ozoro, which when seeing them, first hearing of it, I was like, okay, they called it a particular name on social media. If you're, you know, if you use social media a lot, you know the name that they call it. And I was like, let me see what's going on. I went in and I saw the videos, and I'd like to affirm that it's true, it happens. And it doesn't just happen in Ozoro alone. It happens in, you know, many of these communities. I don't want to say particular tribes, but growing up, I grew up in Warri, and I know a particular area where it happens in Warri. If you're familiar with Ekpa, it happens there too. I grew up seeing it every year because it was on my routes to school. Okay. It was so normalized and publicized. Now, the King of Ozoro has come out to say it's been happening without his knowledge, but I doubt that something so heavy will be happening in your community year after year without your knowledge. And like I did say, it happens in that particular Ekman community. People watching that, you know that area, that lived in that area, they can authenticate this story. You know, growing up, it was so normalized that you might not know the particular day it happened, but it happens in October, toward the end of October. And when we get to school in the morning, in the assembly, they will announce it that it's going to happen today.
It's about to go down.
Yes. So just informing female students, if you had the intention of passing that place on a bike, on a tricycle, on a motorcycle, or on a tricycle, because it's not just girls that use their legs. I'm saying secondary school children are victims of their horrendous activities. They will drag the students down, and then the rest is history. They will molest her, harass her, essay her. That's just how it happens. It's just
so sad.
Security agencies, they know so much that there's a bridge called Ekpan Bridge. They will stand at the beginning of the bridge. Security agencies, I'm talking the police, MOPO, soldiers, not trying to stop the activity from happening. What they are trying to do is, the one that is happening in the community is happening there. It's going down. It's happening, and then they will stand at the beginning of the bridge, just trying to stop you know, females, ladies that are in bikes and tricycles that are trying to pass the bridge, and then they will stop them. They will bring the ladies down and beckon on other road users that have cars to carry them to pass the bridge. And even as you are in a vehicle with the car shield wind up, because I could see them from my father's car growing up, they will be taunting at the vehicle, hitting the windscreen to tell you that it's happening, and you will see them tearing off the clothes of women in broad daylight, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. It's happening. The next morning, you come, you see clothes on the floor of women that have been harassed the previous day. So I'm saying that it's been happening not just in Ozoro, in these communities, and it's normalized like it's just culture.
It's a barbaric culture. Well, let me get your take. I mean, you've been following, I mean, you should be following those trends anyway.
Of course, just as you said, it's a barbaric, wicked, a pathetic situation that in 2026 we're having this all over social media. It doesn't speak well of the community, it doesn't speak well of the states, and you know, all of the necessary relevant authorities in charge of this. So judging from what happened on Thursday precisely in Ozoro, we saw videos trending online hours later of persons, of girls who were dragged. Some of them were on the bike going, even with their supposed man, and they got dragged and all. But there have been conflicting sides to the stories. So reaching out to NAN's president in Delta State, he went there with the DSP Bright Edafe to see the traditional ruler in Ozoro, and they came out to later say that, oh, there was no such thing that happened. It's just social media shenanigans. Nothing as such did happen. But I remember vividly that the OVA of Ozoro did state that he saw over 200 videos. A lot of persons have been reaching out to him as regards the same issue. But just to put it out there that it is not a festival of graping, rather it's a festival of fertility, and it's something that has been going on over time in that culture, which the festival actually for persons who have difficulty in childbearing. So it's actually stated that after that festival, they get to have the blessings of childbearing. And one of the things that happen afterwards or during the festivity is dragging of unmarried single persons and persons who are looking for the fruit of the womb. They drag them playfully with sand and all. But as regards this situation that happened, the traditional ruler did state that it was just a bad eggs that wanted to take advantage
that's going around on social media is that women are not supposed to come out. That's what they're saying.
Let me push you guys there, because I'm very delighted having this conversation, because you're talking from someone who witnessed these things, and you are from Delta State partly, you stayed there, so both of you have a very rich knowledge about all of these things. But let's quickly get our colleagues from Abuja Network Studio, where Kadri is on standby, and then of course from our Lagos Network Studio, where Ms. Lina is on standby. Kadri, good morning. Talk to us. What's Abuja like this morning? How is this graping story from Ozoro in Delta State resonating in Abuja?
Right, a very good morning to you, Doctor. Good morning, dear colleagues and viewers. You are welcome to the show. It's always promises to be very, very interesting, especially as we are discussing this issue, which, you know, the female folks have always been talking about the fact that they are being marginalized, or that there is violence against them, gender-based violence, and there is sexual and gender-based violence against them. So much that have been happening when you come to the issue of women. A culture in the 21st century that needs to be refined, because there are more refined people, so to speak, in that community, in Delta State. Delta State is one state that houses so many four walls of institutions of higher learning, which of course I'm sure again the lecturers there or the persons in that state must have also traveled to develop climes where things are done without, you know, necessarily infringing on the rights of individuals. So yes, there is a culture based on how women who are infertile can be productive. So, if you now juxtapose it with recent scientific finding, it is not only the woman that is responsible for childlessness. There are times that, not there are times, I don't want to use most of the times, but male are also responsible for infertility in their relationship or are unable to impregnate their wives. So that culture, I think the time has come for the traditional rulers to visit their gods, so to speak, and request that such a tradition be abolished. In this country, there are areas that have abolished heinous and dangerous tradition.
Okay.
Like in Calabar, before the coming of Mary Slessor, if you give birth to, if you are so fertile and you have 2 kids, those kids are gone.
Yeah.
If you are so fertile and you give birth to a set of twins, those kids will be killed. But a time came in our history that that tradition was abolished.
Yeah.
So my input is the traditional rulers, the custodian of the culture of that area, should be able to bring themselves together, look at this issue, juxtapose it with modern civilization, and say, look, we cannot continue with this culture. There is no scientific proof that when you harass a woman, that woman at the end of the day will be able to bear children. This is not proven scientifically.
Okay.
So it's a barbaric act. It
Condemnable.
Irrespective of the color and painting the traditional rulers are given to that terrible act, it should be condemned and it should be abolished.
All right, thank you, Kadri. Let's link up with Ms. Lina. I mean, I've heard a video, I saw a video where the OVA of Ozoro was saying that, some miscreants took advantage of the situation. But we know, for what is available out there, that this has been a culture that has been ongoing over the years, maybe 50 years, maybe, from time immemorial. How do you say this, Ms. Lina?
Beautiful morning to you, Dr. Sanu Diego Koso. Good morning, Joseph Kaduri, Anu, and Chukum Funaya. Beautiful morning to you all. Okay, I saw the video on the internet. Them saying that it's a traditional thing. With the videos that I've seen or that have been trending on the internet, it doesn't seem right. It seems like they're harassing these ladies. If you're saying that, okay, it is actually those ladies that are infertile and all of that, and it's just a traditional thing. And then with those videos that we've seen or that has been trending on the internet, it doesn't seem like that. Maybe probably the OVA needs to come out. Okay, fine, he has explained that it's actually some miscreants that are doing all this thing. And at the same time, you saying, according to what Joseph Kaduri said, that they should look into the tradition and they should really need to look into it. If you're saying this thing is a tradition, and then with the videos we saw on the internet, it doesn't seem like it's a tradition. It seems like, grape, according to what Chukum Funaya said. I'm from Delta State, but I have never seen that stuff. I just saw a few days on social media, and I'm like, oh, so this thing is actually happening. So them saying it's a tradition, they need to look into the tradition, just look into it, and probably if it's something they feel, this is 2026. This is this is not then. We're in 2026. If it's something they need to look into, and see what they can do about it.
Okay.
Because with the way those miscreants are taking it, it's given a different perspective to we that have seen it on social media that this is not a tradition. This is something else. Grape and all of that with what we've been saying on social media.
It's quite sad. Very, very sad. And the fact that, from people that are knowledgeable about this, that it's been happening over the years. We just heard from Chukwufunaya here. And if you go online, there's a video I saw yesterday. It looks like the festival is just an opportunity for young people to molest and attack young ladies, especially if such a young man has been asking a particular lady out, or he's been eyeing a particular lady. He's waiting for this period to attack such a lady in the guise of the festival. The lady's account was that in her house, when she was much younger, she had, sisters, 5 of them altogether. And these sisters were heavily endowed. And so you'd expect that under that scenario, young men will always be flocking around trying to ask them out and stuff like that, and the ladies will rebuff them. And then the guys in the neighborhood who started plotting against them, looking forward to this festival. And then when the festival came, they just went into their house, grabbed 2 of them. Unfortunately for them, they didn't know that her father is a retired military officer who had a gun in his house, and he went into his room, brought out his gun, and started shooting at them. That's how they let go the sister. So you see the scenario that we have there. Young people are looking forward to this festival, to grape, to harass, to molest young women. So it is beyond, it has nothing to do with about fertility. I mean, I don't understand this whole stuff about fertility, they rub sand, they do all of this stuff. Yeah, it's just
how it is.
Let's say the way it is.
Something this dastardly and this bad comes in public, those are the helms of affairs in, those fairs. They try to defend themselves with whatever. Yeah,
because the OVA of Ozoro is saying he didn't,
I'm telling you that it's even dying down now. Now that social media has brought it to the limelight, the videos I saw, it's already coming down.
Okay.
What used to happen then, very terrible. But from what Joseph Kadiri was saying, there's something I could pick out of it. The patriarchal society's culture, in a way, is demeaning to women. I'm just going to say that. I'm not trying to, put down West Africa or talk down West Africa, but look at the issue of female genital mutilation. These cultures are there, and for someone that has seen and experienced these things, it's so frustrating trying to tell people that it happens and it's been going on. But I do get their position of doubting because of how horrible it is, and then you just want to make sense of the whole situation. But it's there, it's normalized in the name of culture, and I feel that patriarchal systems in a way undermine women.
But basically, it's now out in the public space. Big thanks to social media. In spite of some of the misgivings about social media, we just have a situation wherein people can actually have and appreciate real-time, touchable, feelable information about a particular issue that will move government to action. I think that the custodians of this culture in Ozoro should be held accountable. This is not a matter that should be swept under the carpet, because those young women who have become victims of this, narcissistic and outrageous and barbaric festival, they will never ever recover from such trauma that they went through. And it's not something we just glide over or slide over in the name of culture. Right. Culture definitely is a people's way of life. But if culture now becomes something, or a particular culture becomes something that is inimical to the health, to the growth, and to the development of a particular society, what do? You throw such a culture away, or at best, you modify it. If we have the structures in place in Ozoro as a kingdom or as a community to monitor how this festival goes, I'm sure these things will not have happened. And in any case, it's not a happenstance. It's not something that just a one-off thing. It's something that has been. So you see that the young men have built themselves around this culture, and they're looking forward to it so they can explore and exploit vulnerable young women, and this is sad.
There are a lot of things to talk about, and just to add my own 2 cents, it says a lot about the patriarchal system we tend to operate here in Nigeria and also in Africa. A lot of questions have been asked. Why always the women? It seems to women that all of the rules, all of the theories, all of the do's and don'ts is just against the women. You're not supposed to speak out in public, but then in the olden days, you're not supposed to do some certain things because you are a woman. And it's also good to see that this is happening in the Women's Month. More, you know, clarification, more vocal output being put out there by women, being vocal about basic things that are happening. But anyway, update regarding what is going on. Persons have been arrested. The OVA of the kingdom did state that there was no prior knowledge given to him. There was no, you know, security clearance from him for them to go over and do that festival that day. He had no idea about it. So the persons involved got arrested, and also swift and a thumbs up to the Delta State government for scaling through to make more arrests. As of yesterday, 11 other persons were arrested as regards what happened on Thursday. But it's a sad situation. And
very sad, very sad. And Chukwu Funaya is really passionate about this conversation.
I'm very pissed about it because growing up, even as a young girl in my junior secondary school, I used to wonder, like, why is nobody saying anything
about it?
And then I would see a law firm just close to where it happens, just with that childish knowledge. I'm like, can these people not come out
a law
and say
firm,
something?
Yes. Are they into human rights and stuff like that?
I do not know.
Okay.
It's just like what was on my mind at the time. Like, can somebody just do something about this? So it's good to see that it has come out in the limelight. Maybe something will be done. And like I was saying, it happens in Warri, other Ekpan environments. Maybe they should go there by October too, toward the end of October, and they will see if it happens or not. And maybe social media scare now will make them go into their shells.
All right, so let's hope that government will actually swing into action and do something to correct this anomaly. It is horrendous. It is barbaric, it's outdated, it's inimical to the society, and should not be condoned in any way, under any guise, in any form. It's highly, highly condemnable, and we want to see how those involved in this dastardly act are brought to justice. We want to see how they are brought to justice. So we'll be following up and see how government response to this issue. Still on TMI on the ITV network, we're going to have a lot of conversation coming up. The build up to 2027 election, a lot of mobilization. But the question is, does Mr. President deserve a second term? Has he lived up to the expectations of Nigerians? We'll be talking along those lines when we return much later. But let's go to Abuja, where Kadri is also on standby. Give us insights into what they expect from your end, as well as Ms. Elena Kadri.
Security. Most time, people just believe that it is that aspect of insecurity that has to do with armed. But there are more than those kinds of insecurity. For example, when you talk about health security, in the absence of vaccine, a lot of women and children will die. And as we speak, there are about over 2 million children that are zero dosed, which means they have not been able to receive polio vaccine, pneumococcal vaccine for pneumonia, meningitis, tetanus, BCG, which is also known as tuberculosis, and lots more. There are many children that have not received those vaccines. And there are some of these deadly diseases that are vaccine preventable. If you don't have it, it may lead to deformity in future. Of course, we know polio, diphtheria, and others. So it is the government of a country that provides those vaccine, those drugs, free of charge.
Okay.
But in Nigeria,
Yeah.
We have a combo between the federal government and Global Vaccine Alliance, Gavi. It's a basket fund where government contributes and then Gavi brings the vaccine. But as we speak, government is yet to pay its counterpart fund for.
So we're looking at that in details from your end, right?
Vaccines are not drugs that is on the shelf. You pay and it's produced, it is supplied and used. So if these things are not done between now and the end of March, I'm afraid from the record, many children may lose their lives and so on.
It's quite unfortunate, Kadri. It's quite unfortunate. Just a moment. It's quite unfortunate because I don't see how that will materialize between now and this March ending if the processes have not been activated. Anyways, we'll join you up later to have more in-depth knowledge about all of those conversations. Ms. Selena, talk to us about the inflows, let me put it that way, from Abuja, from Lagos Network Studio. I beg your pardon.
So we're going to be looking at 2027 election and the intense political realignment ahead of the 2027 election. Everything we're going to be talking today on this table. I mean, we've been talking about defections, the APC, the president. Does it stand a chance for the forthcoming 2027 election? So basically today from the table, we're going to be talking about 2027 election. There's been a rising debate over the positioning of politicians as party primaries and realignments accelerates ahead of 2027 election. So that is what we'll be talking about today.
All right.
About party defections and all of that.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Linda. We'll join you much later. It's the TMI on the ITV network. We'll take a short break. When we return, we'll be looking at what the papers are saying to cascade into a major discussion point. Please stay. Thanks again for staying with us on the program TMI on the ITV platform. We'll look at what the papers are saying this lovely Monday morning, and you can always expect that on a day like this, a lot of political issues will headline many of the national dailies. We'll have This Day newspaper. Okay, we've got on This Day, it says, Makinde, any PDP member with Wike is enemy of democracy. That's a big one on This Day newspaper. It means that the end to the PDP crisis is not yet in sight. You find that story continuing on page 5 of This Day newspaper. We've got the story just above the This Day logo. It says, inflation targeting regime will improve transparency, accountability, credibility of monetary policy, says CBN. And the writer says, back Central Bank of the Year award in global recognition of reform efforts. That story is continuing on page 5 as well. Still on This Day, Tinubu, Nigeria in talks with UK, France for support in fight against insecurity, says government intensifying efforts to tackle scourge, warns Middle East crisis may worsen inflation, reduce purchasing power, assures Nigerians his government will continue to help the vulnerable. How? The story is on page 5 of This Day. Ozoro sexual assault. I watched the horrific viral footage, says First Lady. Beyond watching, what can be done to assuage those who have been harassed, traumatized by these nefarious activities? We hope government will match words with action to address all of this issue. And if we've got a guest reviewer online, Dr. Dan Ekarafo will just get his insights into the conversation much later as we get along on this segment. Chiku?
All right, we move on to our next point of call on our newspaper review segment. So let's take a look at The Nation newspaper. Headlining there on The Nation newspaper, it says, President, governors step up war against terrorists. It goes on to say Tinubu seeks French equipment, intelligence backing, NGF, state police bill ready soon. That's one headline. Moving on, it says Makinde, Bala Muhammad defer on way forward for PDP. Also on The Nation newspaper, Nigeria records 2.6 billion mining FDI. Alake woos investors, and that's on the business scene. It's on page 2 of The Nation newspaper. Away from there, it says Labour demands quick energy sector reform. Elumelu urges sustained support for SMEs. That's also on the business scene. It also says 10 discos got 0 MW allocation. Also on the business scene, on The Nation newspaper, it says 34 banks scale recapitalization hurdle, 8 days to CBN deadline. On the security situation, The Nation headlines, death toll of, it's not actually the security situation, but it does say death toll of gas explosion victims, now 60. And then on the security situation, it says 8 abducted in Kwara Church. And that's on page 27. You want more on those stories, grab yourself a copy of The Nation newspaper.
Away from The Nation, the Nigerian Tribune is up next, leading with the major headline that says Kwankwaso, Makinde, Dixon meet in Kano. We saw that happen over the weekend. Also, Brighter says Bala Mohammed, Makinde meets with Dixon in Bauchi. Obi meets Kwankwaso in Kano. Disregard misleading narratives on PDP leadership. Wike-backed group tells members. All of this on page 22 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. Other major headline, gunmen abduct 8 worshippers during church service in Kwara on page 26. Motorist passengers lament as petrol pump price hits 1,380 naira per litre on page 27, and they also feel as their persons are no longer traveling as they used to. Well, still on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, NLC rejects federal government's planned 6 trillion naira power generation bailout. On page 4, subwriter says calls for power petroleum ministry's measure. Insecurity, my foreign trips are paying off. France, UK committed to supporting Nigeria. Who was speaking? The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, with a lot of Nigerians also having different views to this. IGP directs reduction of political tactical teams, says tactical teams not disbanded on page 3. In health, tooth loss doesn't just make eating harder, it makes thinking more challenging, according to research right there on Nigerian Tribune today. And finally, experts divided over the benefits of €746 million UK export finance deal for Nigeria. Says unstable FX regime threatens Apapa tin can port upgrade gains on page 6. That's all on Nigerian Tribune today.
Let's switch over quickly to the Daily Independent newspaper and take a look at some of the top stories there. We have NLC 6 merger of petroleum power ministries to curb blackouts, and warns FG against 6 trillion naira bailout for Gencos and Discos. You won't wonder why is government intending to bail out Gencos and Discos with 6 trillion naira. That story is on Daily Independent, page 7. All right, and then to your other stories, Nigeria gains $2.6 billion mining FDI as Alake advocates regional energy hub. More on that story on page 7 as well. And now the big one, the Middle East crisis. Oil price surge may reverse fragile gains in price stability. That's a huge concern to everyone. And now moving on to other stories. It says, failure to zone ADC ticket to South will hand Tinubu re-election. Find a story on page 7. ADC describes Nigeria's £746 million pact with UK as Mugu deal. That story is on page 7. More on Daily Independent. It says missing 210 trillion naira. I mean, there are some figures you hear, you just have.
How did you go missing such a big
you just
amount?
have a headache. All of a sudden, missing 210 trillion naira. Serap gives Akpabio 7 days to name involved officials. Page 6 is where you get that story on the Daily Independent. And Atiku slams FG over renewed OPL 245 legal tussle. More on Daily Independent. Governors push legislative overhaul to back state policing initiative. And the writer says Tinubu asks Macron for equipment to tackle insecurity. And just over the weekend, we heard of U.S. supplying equipment such as drones and what have you to support the Nigerian army. And then the last story there, 2027, APC in mortal fear of PDP, marking days rising profile, says CP PDP. Well, only time will tell who is afraid of who. I know.
Right, the Vanguard newspaper is up next, leading with state police. Governor split as insecurity worsens nationwide. Subwriter says most states back move, other one of abuse, repression. North divided, Kaduna, Plateau, Kano, Taraba set pace. Tinubu can't create it by fate. Afeni Ferrer has that to say. Lawmakers, governors face crucial test. We will address Nigerians' concerns. Who is speaking? The Senate. Well, still on the front page of the Vanguard this morning, blackouts, NLC warns urgent overhaul of power sector. Subreddit says 6 single energy ministry insist on no bailout for Genco Discos as power crisis deepens. On page 9, you get details of that. But still on page 9, UK expands detention capacity to speed up deportations. And on page 12, Ozora Festival assault, Remi Tinubu, Ezekwesili, NAPTIP, others demand justice. And finally, on the front page of the Vanguard this morning, public-private sector leaders set to play lead roles on page 24. And also, APC convention, aspirant cry fall, alleged hoarding of nomination forms on page 8. That's all for the Vanguard today.
All right, moving on to our next points of call. We'll be looking at a Daily Sun newspaper. Headline there says, over 150 bandits drown in Sokoto boat mishap. It goes on to say, as gunmen adopt 8 in Kwara Church. And that's on page 4. More on Daily Sun is on the business scene. Recapitalization deadline. 3 banks await verification. CBN considers special lifeline for 2. 30 banks cleared as experts urge strong post-consolidation competition. Now on 2027 election, Daily Sun headlines, ministers' aides panic as Tinubu remains neutral. Aspirants barred from lobbying president. And that's on page 6. More on Daily Sun says, NLC rejects 6 trillion naira bailout, demands energy sector reform. The sub-rider there says calls for merger of power petroleum ministries to fix energy crisis. And that's also on page 6. More on the business scene, $16 million TEF grant, $16 million TEF grant, Agric Fashion ICT, lead 2026 entrepreneur cohort. That's on page 26. It says airfare hike imminent as Middle East tension push aviation fuel to 2,557 naira per liter. The sub-rider goes on to say domestic airlines battle losses amid plunging traffic. Also on page 25, more stories say persistent fuel price surge leaves households, businesses gasping. Marketers strained, citizens want federal government's intervention. Now that's all on the Daily Sun.
Okay, we conclude the Papers review segment by looking at some of the trending sports stories from Punch Sports Extra. It says Amusa opens season with 200 meters silver in Jamaica. Ekong calls for long-term plan after World Cup debacle failure, right? And Celtic coach defense Iheanacho selection. O'Reilly backs brace as Guardiola outclasses Arteta in the finals of the League Cup played yesterday. But Arsenal is still coasting home in the Premier League as it is today. We hope to sustain that momentum. And on the local league, Remo Pillars earned crucial victory in survival fight. And Osimhen undergoes scan on arm injury. Okay, Arojo Headers secures Catalan's narrow win. Chelsea offer Enzo new bumper contract. And United step up Guimaraes chase. Nigeria outclass Ghana by 136 runs in cricket. And then Lukman scores in Madrid derby. Awoni ends 56 days goal drought. And Enekwechi finishes 11th in World Indoor Champs. And let's look at the Premier League table at the moment, with Arsenal leading the pack with 70 points from 31 games. Man City second, 61 points from 30 games. Arsenal actually has played 31 games, and Man United is in the third position with 55 points. Okay, that's it on the papers review segment of the show. We'll take a break. We'll bring in our first guest on the show, former legislative leader in Uredo Local Government Council, Harrison Izeko, will be joining us in just a moment. Please stay with us on TMI.
ITV, certainly the best.
We can just run through some of the top trending political stories, and then it brings to mind some of the concerns that have been expressed about the direction of Nigeria's democracy and politics. The PDP crisis is not in sight, with the Wike-led faction of the party insisting on going ahead with its convention, or its own factional convention. And Makinde is threatening fire and brimstone, saying anyone who aligns with that faction is an enemy of the party. Now, the ADC provided some sort of fillip in terms of mobilization by the opposition against the incumbent. But we hear there's a crisis in the party now, with some factional members writing to the US, to grant visas and other opportunities to those who are creating crisis in the party. Some are even saying the likes of the pro-tem national chairman, Senator David Mark, and others should not be recognized by INEC. The only party where everything seems to be rosy now is the only party, the APC, where Shatima is expected to receive Dauda Lawal, the Zamfara State Governor, into the APC. That will bring the number of APC governors to 31 or even more. I'm joined out today on the show by the former leader of the Oredo Legislative Arm, Comrade Harrison Iseko. Comrade, thanks again for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much. Good morning, viewers.
Good morning. Now, on a scale of, is it a scale now? If you're asked to prioritize in terms of scaling, maybe 5 major factors that will shape the 2025 elections, what will be the factors?
Well, thank you very much. I think, the state we find ourselves today in this country is laughable. When you wake up every morning, you look at the situation in this country, you just shake your head. Definitely, this present administration and the president of this country, taking power from presidents, Tinubu, is going to be a camel going through the half a needle. It is not that kind of politician or that kind of person that will tell you, my re-election does not want the death of any Nigerian. Even if everybody die, but when they become president. So, the way it's going right now, there is no party apart from APC that can even field the candidate. There's only their party. The way it is, ADC is the only hope. But right now, you can see they are now waking the former state chairman that resigned on their own willingly, who agreed for the terms for the new protest going to take over. But unfortunately, these people are now raising issues again. Because why? Money are passed through, and they now see that the NDC will be a very strong opposition in the election. They want to see if they can also crumple that one.
Now, you said money has passed hand. Do you have evidence to that? Or are you talking from as a politician, from a political perspective?
I have been there before. People cannot just wake up when you have agreed that let us do this thing. After some time, you see you coming up and saying no. It is because some persons have seen them. You must raise issues so that this.
And so that would mean when they resigned voluntarily to allow this interim structure to be in place, they also got money from the leadership of the ADC, as it were.
That arrangement was not visible. Even the APC was surprised. Even the people was surprised to discover that overnight, people like David Mark and some other leaders have been able to just align with one existing, because they were not ready to register their party. So for that reason, they didn't know when they made all this arrangement. And the beauty is that these persons resign. Their electors are everywhere on their own. But the problem was what is that the court, we did not do the bidding. Look at what is happening to PDP. As we speak today, the FCT minister have destroyed PDP completely. Look at the last appeal court judgment. What about the judge simply did that? Little to the right, little to the left. You were saying that the convention is not avoid. The same convention where people were suspended, you said you upheld the suspension, but the convention is not valid. Now we case for the convention, and the mark in there, they have convention. They will go back to the same court again. So now so decide which one that is valid. Okay. So they have created a problem. Before they finish that one, the process, the time for primaries must have even elapsed. So for PDP, that one is over.
What do you mean is over?
For PDP right now,
Yes.
in
They
this coming
can't
election,
field a presidential ticket.
It's over.
They can't field candidates.
before they will finish their convention, and they will not go back again. The same people will go back to court to now interpret which of this group is the authentic PDP.
Is the judiciary a major challenge to our political development?
They are the major problem right now.
There is a problem.
In fact, they are the major problem right now. Look at the judgment they are giving now. I wonder, do they live in this country? They will just sit down. Some of them try to be a little bit diplomatic. It will just push. It will give the man some level of where he can always push. They will also give this one, that's where they can always push. And then they'll come back to them. So until the judiciary rise to the occasion of doing the right thing. Party crisis will be an internal issue within the party. They know all these things. Convention, how will the court now determine the convention that is authentic for a political party, or are they members of the political party? The party all sat down and said, these people, for so reason, they are no longer members of the party. Who are the majority? But yet, the court is giving leverage to the Wike group to continue to create the crisis, so that at the end of the day, there will not be any viable opposition against Mr. President. That is the game plan. If really, the way the governors are decamping to the opposition, to the ruling party, is a weight that this decamping is sure that they've already gotten on the state. If you have 31 states, so why are you fighting the political party for not being able to organize your party? Since they are with you, do free and fair election. You have 31 governors, conduct free and fair election. They will not know that the governor have one vote. You will be able members of the cabinet will vote against them. They know that is why they don't want to work towards free and fair election. And it's so heavy for our democracy. The one we speak today, Nigeria is a one-party state. Whether you like it or not, don't deceive yourself. Except the ADC, stand tall, and also field the right person, presidential candidate, for this election. Then we will now wait and see what is going to happen. The whole world will begin to watch. Thank God the American president has become a demigod whose session is everywhere. If the ADC get it right in their party, and they bring in the right person that can move the money between the West and the North, then people will now watch. If the election is not free and fair, then Nigerians will not begin to speak up. But the way it is today, the APC is in charge. The judiciary, they are with them. Anything in fact, if you raise anything against any of the party, it will not work. But if you are a member of their party, everything is okay. There's no crisis in APC as we speak. But every other political party, they have one or two governors, they are fighting themselves on daily basis. Nothing is working. Especially the PDP. It's very unfortunate that Wike, who is the greatest beneficiary of the PDP, decided to destroy the party completely. And the way it is, PDP cannot survive this coming election.
But when you listen to Wike, he tells you that, or when you listen to people that are close to him, they tell you that Wike's action is the result of the injustice that is inherent in the PDP, or has been inherent in the PDP over the years, where even when you have gentlemen agreement, it is never ever respected.
Injustice of where? Who are the beneficiaries? Who were the people in charge? Okay, because he didn't become a vice president to Atiku. There was no agreement of being a vice president. He said he wants to be a president, and he went for the primary. He lost the primaries. It was done in an open field. He lost the primaries. Then he was not opting to become the vice president to Atiku. Atiku, being the kind of person he is, knows that this man who is a tyrant, who fought me to this extent, even because of a Tambawa playing the northern politics in that convention, Wike should have used money to buy his way through. He gave the ticket to Okowa, and that was his anger. What is the agreement? He is the one cutting the share. At the time, he hoped PDP to national. They don't bring national convention to Rivers State. Nothing will work. They have no choice. They had to go and meet him there when he was supporting Tambawa. So Wike have been the greatest beneficiary of
He's
PDP.
also one of the greatest sponsors of PDP, particularly those times that the party, lost its focus and direction.
The party never lost focus and direction. The issue was that the Wike took advantage, trying to use money to buy the ESCO, the executive. Anytime there is convention, he used money to bring in his own boys to be in charge of the party. Which funding of what? By the time you have your boys as the national chairman, the escort of the party, they decide what happened in the party. So he gave them commands from his house. In fact, he brought in Secondus. Even Amadu Sharif was brought in by Wike. After some time, say it's not good again. They brought in Secondus from his own state. Secondus is not good again. It's the same person. He had been the one in charge. Just because there was so much money in Rivers State, before he became governor, who was Wike? He's spending the state resources. But one thing is that there is nothing that lasts forever. He's gradually getting to the top now. By the time Tinubu succeed, you will not see the other side.
Okay, let's talk about the man you just mentioned, Tinubu. If you listen to some of his loyalists and supporters, they tell you that the man has done creditably well. Number one is the fact that he removed fuel subsidy, and true to type, we've seen that more money is coming to the government, more money is coming to the states, more money is coming to local governments. Allocation has increased. Is it as something that he should be applauded for and rewarded by Nigerian people?
Will you reward him? Honestly, how can? For me, when Tinubu was coming on board, even though I was in his political party, I was one of those who believed that Tinubu is going to make a difference because of his background. Over the years, Tinubu is one person who was fighting for the opposition, who claimed to be a Democrat, who believed that Nigeria was not working. With his antecedents in Lagos State, people believe, like me, that if this man have his way, things will be better. Tinubu took over. In his address, he said, subsidy is gone. From that day, life has never been okay for Nigerians. Yes, you said you have removed subsidy. Abi, does it reflect on the life of Nigerians? The answer is no. You said you just carry money and pack to state government, state governors, and it's for instance the local government. What are they doing with the money? Do you know the allocation that come to each state in Nigeria on monthly basis? What is the implication? Nothing. Nigeria is worst. Today, people cannot feed. Our institutions are gone. Our judges, you can sit down in your house and you can just decide, well, this is the way this judgment will go because the person is an APC member. He destroyed all the institution. Is he a Democrat? Is this what he was saying all these years that he was going to do? Now you have the opportunity. You are worst. With all modesty. Muhammadu Buhari, of blessed memory, his administration is far, far better than what we are going through today. We should still accept the truth. Because we can't continue to begin to tell these people, oh, everybody is okay. Today is your mandate to start. Everybody, you are pushing everybody under that mandate now. And we do have no choice than to allow the mandate to have his way. But if you say you have performed, does it reflect in this country? You told us in 6 months, if I cannot give you electricity, don't vote for me. The time has come. The question is, are you giving us electricity? If yes, we will vote for you. But if not, the people will vote against you. That was his statement. I had the video. He said in 6 months, today, in my house, for the past 1 month, I don't think I've seen electricity for just 5 hours. Where are we going to? We can't continue to do things the same way and expect a different result. The police work for these same party people. Today in Benin, if you're a member of APC, you are a lot to yourself. They parade themselves in the street as a demigod. They shut the people up and down. Is that democracy that I fought for? We never expected that this would happen. Nigeria should have grown beyond this state. After 26 years of democracy, people will not be allowed to carry out their will. People will not be allowed to do the right thing just because we want to stay in power. Until we get the right set of persons into government, we go nowhere. Right. Election is coming again now. Who are the people? This same set of persons.
Okay, let me ask this question, because you said with the removal of fuel subsidy, more monies have come to the states and local government. Now, if the state's chief executives, local government executives as it were, they are not deploying those resources judiciously to reflect on the lives of the ordinary man on the street. Is that the problem of Mr. President? Isn't that the problem of the governors and the local government chairmen, as it were?
Is the problem of Mr. President.
How is it the problem of Mr. President?
Mr. President is dosing this money to these governors because of his re-election. By the time Tinubu win, the Tinubu will know, you will see the other side of him. At the time he started, where he was said to mark pressure, he pushed for the reform of local government to the Supreme Court level. To the extent that he went the judgment that no state governor can temper with local government resources and of course remove an elected local government chairman or council or whatever you call them. But after some time, when they met him, they now remember him. They reminded him, hope you know you are going to contest again. The next morning, the man said, you are in charge of local government. They are under you. Take control. So that is why the resources should go to the... What is the judgment? That each local government will get the allocation from the federal government. The Supreme Court judgment. A country that cannot obey their Supreme Court judgment, is that a country? Today, as we speak till tomorrow, resources allocation still be paid to local government, to state governments. From there, they will now give whatever they give. How many are they giving to the local government? I have been there before. From there, they will not give to their local government. So whatever they give to you, if you do what you want to do with it, if there's any remainder, those will also do their little sharing, they go. If you have so much resources, look at our roads. If you have so much resources, so can't you put money to the electricity and make sure it works well? Is that not federal government? So why would you not say you are giving the money to state government? That is why you are not performing. Insecurity everywhere. Which one? Let's put it on a scale of preference. As a president of this country, I gave it to Buhari. The second on the Cha Bridge. It's a legacy project of Buhari. He did it. In the past, we almost went to 4 years. We should ask Mr. President, which area have you performed?
Okay. Now,
Buhari gave us railway under Mameshi. We saw them.
Yeah.
That was just show us.
Railway that went to Maradi in Nigeria.
But at least there was a direction. Something was being done.
Okay.
We want this government, their followers, to tell us this is area. This area, this man have done this. And we just push that area. We say, okay, well, since you have done, let's give him opportunity to see if he can do more. They should just give us one area.
If you join us, it's still TMI on ITV. We'll take a short break. When we return, there's so much more to talk about on this discussion segment. Please stay.
ITV, certainly the best.
Our conversations on the show this morning from Benin Network Studio is to examine factors that will shape the 2027 election, particularly on the part or the perspective of the incumbent president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who has been described in very flowery words, who have been eulogized because of his antecedents as a former senator, former governor of Lagos State, where he made impact. But is it making impact being the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, especially coming from the background with the mantra of Emilokon, it's my turn. Was it just all about the sloganeering of Emilokon and nothing to show for it? There's a question we're asking this morning, but I'm always concerned to ask this question, which is that when a government leaves, we now remember the previous government. Like you take a transition from Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. That was the man who actually saw tomorrow. And he told us that when he leaves office, we'll remember him. And we did remember him with the coming of President Muhammadu Buhari of blessed memory. Now Buhari is out of office and he's gone forever. I mean, he's transitioned. We have Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We are making reference to that government because that was one government that people described as a clueless government that didn't really have knowledge and wasn't at home with the issues at the time. People also described former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan's government as a clueless government. Why are we like this?
You see, I think the president and leaders of this country, they must ask for forgiveness from Goodluck Jonathan. The current president were those who sat down together to ensure they dethrone Goodluck Jonathan from power. And they brought in Buhari. And he made a statement, he said it's a common sense revolution. That was the statement of Bola Ahmed. Then he was not the president. I think he came to believe, he was trying, he said it's a common sense revolution when Jonathan lost that election. Then Buhari took over. Yes, we complain so much about Buhari, but Buhari did not destroy our institution. Under Buhari, the former Bayelsa State governor, who won an election, was preparing to take over the following day. Supreme Court gave judgment that is no longer the government. They gave the judgment to opposition. It will never happen under Tinubu. Under Buhari, opposition party do election in these states, in other states. There's election, they allow the INEC to do their work. But under President Tinubu, it will not happen. They will even make sure they see the judgment that the judge is going to deliver, that they will first of all read to understand that. Okay,
what is your proof of that? What is your proof of that?
I'm just saying my own, because
but there's no proof.
We have seen people sit down in their house, determine the outcome of the judgment of the
but that would just be a coincidence.
Well, if it's a coincidence, that coincidence cannot just be almost 80% the way they have analyzed it and the judgment came out like that. Because their leaders have also fueled them back, say we don't prepare and say I want B. And that says it won't be, that was the outcome. Is this a country that want to move beyond where they are now to another level? If we don't change it now, the one that is coming again, we're also going to say Tinubu was a saint. Except the right person gets into this political office. The question is that, why is it that these leaders don't want to fix Nigeria? Because me, I begin to wonder. I have an opportunity of serving in government, although at a very small level. But I know that this thing is not rocket science. It is possible for you to say, okay, this is what I want to do. You put, although the leaders want to push, but somebody also say, no way, we must do it this way. But so we just get into power. The person you were seeing as somebody who have a blueprint before now, as soon as he get to the place, the reverse is the case. That's the case of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Yes. So, and it's even strong. When he was coming in, we see him as somebody maybe was unfair. But today, Tinubu is stronger than me. In terms of action, the way if he tells he's going to do, he's going to do it. But what is the problem? Who is fighting back? We don't know the direction of the North right now, but he still have opportunity to see if he can change, write his name in gold. He should allow the institution of this country to run. That's how to run the country. Everybody must not be in your political party. I don't need to be in APC to support the state government. Those who are telling you they need to decamp to support Okpebholo, they are hungry people. Integrity is inbuilt. You don't form it. Some of them form it. When they get to a level that they can no longer move, they will display their real person. You don't need to join their people to support them. I am an advocate of good governance. Whoever that fixes Nigeria, I support the person. I want to say nobody apology. But I will not say that because government have changed I must go agenda because I was removed from my office. I must go on the no. It is not like that. Except your interest of going into politics was to go and look for money. We must get the right people into office. The interest should be there.
Okay.
I don't have money.
Let me ask you.
But I know that one day, God will help us to bring the right person to.
Let me ask you this question, point blank.
Okay.
You are still a member of the PDP.
Yes, I am. For some time, I'm not doing political activities, but I'm just.
But you are still a member of the PDP.
Yes, I'm still there. I'm not joining.
So are you saying that there is nothing that will entice you away from the PDP? You are staying put in PDP.
Like if you get my analysis, I am not a conventional. I'm not a politician. I only have opportunity of serving in public office. Okay. If I'm a politician, I will not be a local government chairman. I was forced. I was arrested, although I escaped. I ran away from my house to come and carry money. It's not my money. If I've been a local, maybe some of my colleagues are all moving around with the money. But I know that in life there should be a process. I don't want to operate in a level where there was no process to that level. My father once told me that what you see today, if you want to sustain it, you must go to the right channel. If you get wet through the back door, it's going to go down the drain. So for me, I see it as the process was wrong. It's not that I was answering to anybody. No. It's just my person. I was not answering to anybody. I was not working for anybody. Nobody is telling me what to do. I became a leader of the legislative. I'm saying that I'm on air. I did not go and meet any leader. I was picked in my absence because people that were there said that this man have integrity, can lead us. Okay. And I led 12 persons. Some of them said I took them to go and swear oath. That's why they were with me. There was nothing like that. I only provided leadership.
But there were questions about the process that brought you to power, the local government election at the time that brought that era to power.
Yes.
Questions about integrity, questions about a fraudulent process, because you know in Nigerian politics, this culture of impunity where you have a government in power, local government elections will always 100% go in the direction of the government in power.
I don't know what the issues they are talking about. SEC was set up and guidelines.
Because we remember that the APC boycotted that local government election.
It's a matter of choice.
Yes.
The guideline was spelled out. The Danobi faction, Danobi himself, went to court on 3 occasions to stop that election. Until we finally, the government has finally followed the law to conduct the election. If the election is being conducted and you decide not to participate, that is nobody's issue. For me, I went through a process. I went through primary. In the history of local government, I went through primaries in my ward. And I won with current election within the election. They went to court. After 1 or 2 years, you will not come and say that the process, no, it's not done like that. The issue is this. In every democracy, we have made the Nigerian democracy. Once you are in charge, government have changed. The government want to take over. Yeah, that is fine. They have right to do that. But it should be done within the ambits of the law if their interest is to fix the state. For me, any person that fixes this state will get my support. Okay. Telling you that you must go over and join one party before you can support, those people are just trying to play to the gallery. People were there before now. Okay. So you want to go and take over their position? Allow them to also take their.
Now, as we move towards 2027, what's your take on the international dimensions? I mean, we're saying U.S. getting more interested in Nigerian politics, U.S. supporting and supplying military equipment and all of that. How do you think that will shape the 2027 election?
I think Mr. President needs to be very careful at this moment. You need to be careful about Donald Trump, the American president's intervention in Nigeria. And for me, if he's going to come out openly to support us, to ensure that there is free and fair election in Nigeria, that will be fine. He needs to be very careful. He needs to tread with caution. He needs to have some kind of discussion to ensure that these troops that are coming in, they are not coming to do something different. For me, what will help this country is my interest. Because Nigeria, the way this country is going, we can't go anywhere. You can't buy ticket to fly to Abuja. I'm supposed to travel. You can't travel through the road. What kind of country is this? Even within your state, you cannot move. You'll be moving something, so either you'll be thinking. I was supposed to come to the car, I was thinking, I said, they said another place, they said, so many issues. How do we go from here? So, he should sit down and look at some of this issue and see how he can do the right thing. Today now the governors are supporting him. Oga, conduct free and fair election. If you know you have performed, you will win now. Politics is about popularity. So the American government should also begin to channel their strength towards helping us to see how we can reform our electoral system and how free and fair election will be conducted in this country. If you do free and fair election, nobody will complain. If you lose, then you know everybody will support you. Then if you want to bring everybody to the back to ensure that only you will not be on the ballot, then there is a problem. So we don't want this problem to escalate. We don't have any other country. I was talking to one of my friends yesterday. They live abroad. I think only 2 of us live here. There was something issue, if we have gone up and all, I said it's a global thing. And I asked them, that place where you people stay, have they increased the price of goods and services? They said, for what? Nobody tries it. I said, but in Nigeria, the very day they said fuel go up, the woman said the pay water have increased its own. Everybody just fix their pay, everybody just arrange, everybody's government to this, so nobody asks questions. Who suffer? The common man. So the international community, America who's at the forefront, they should help discuss with our president, advise him to conduct free and fair election. That is what Nigeria wants. If you conduct free and fair election, you win. Everybody will not give you idea. This is how you're supposed to go about it. But with this way we are going, when we cannot pinpoint one thing in your over 3 years in office or past 3 years, there's a problem. The electricity Togo was going to give to us, we are waiting. He said in 6 months, if I cannot give you electricity, do not vote for me. It's a capital statement. As we speak, Aso Rock is under solar. A country that want to buy electricity. Aso Rock, they have the guts to go on national newspaper to tell the world that they are not using solar in Aso Rock. What a country. Nigeria, my country. And you want to tell us when you give electricity? If you have already used money to do solar for yourself, how will you give the common man electricity? You're not getting interested. That's not part of a priority. So for now, the other political parties, let them come together. All these ones that they back Idelo, I expect them by now. But the other should have even come together and not say we are forming one common front. They're discussing with constituency. Don't be surprised they are going to join another party again. They will not start guide, then the man at the center will have his way. Because those who are fighting, so this is also going through the back door. Because the man today, Tinubu is a tactician. He understands the game. And they have the guts and they have the mind. Everybody that's still on his way will go down. And like I said before, he will not tell you nobody wants the blood of my re-election like Jonathan. He's not Tinubu, just rest. He will turn his face and do what he wants to do. So if Nigerians are ready, they should appeal to him, conduct free and fair election.
Let me pause you in just a moment. We'll scale up this conversation in just a moment with my colleague Kadri joining us from Abuja Network Studio. But we'll take a short break. We will continue this discussion in just a moment. Please stay with us. Thanks again for staying with us. In a moment, we'll join Abuja Network Studio. Now, you mentioned something in the course of our conversation, which borders on bringing forth the best among the best in terms of political position. That has been a major challenge in our democracy. As a former legislator, what are your regrets about the system that we have in terms of people vying for political offices they are probably not prepared for? It looks like even you two were not prepared because you said you didn't know how you came there, or you were more or less forced to come in, but you made impact. This seems to be that sort of culture here.
You see, well, let me start with myself. I was prepared in the sense that as an NGO person, all my life I've worked in the NGO sector.
Okay.
And I had opportunity of working in my ward when I was working with the EU 2025. I put project, over 20 projects under EU funded, schools built. So the people there knows me. They know, because of that, they called me to come and join. I tried before, it didn't work.
Okay.
The issue is that the politicians know the right people. But the Nigerian politician will not support the right person because they feel that they won't be able to control the person. If you are at school, first of all, you are an enemy. They think this one is too intelligent. I know the number of times they were hitting table for me. If you go there and do activities, you see what you are looking for. I'll just make it like that. But honestly, I didn't borrow money from there. So when I got there, it was not their business. I do my own. But money at times in my first tenure, minority will have a say. Majority will have their way. But in this my second tenure, the 12 people they brought in there, it was God that brought them. It was God that selected them. These people are responsible people and people with integrity. That was why we were able to say true. In Benin, they say, oh, Magmane, though, in the first time it works, the 12 of us, there was no dissenting voice. I didn't give them anything. What I did is that, what was leadership? Anything that had to do with money in that legislative, I don't touch it. I give it to them to share it. That was my strategy.
So you people were sharing money?
No, our grant.
No, you said anything that has to do with money, you give it to them to share it.
They give us grants. We get grants. Then what they give us grants, that is our money. That is supposed to come from the legislative fund. No matter I'm supposed to be in charge.
Constitutionally?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm supposed to be in charge. I'm supposed to be the one to decide what goes to them. I give it to them. So whatever they give to me, I take. So they were not surprised. Even when it's not enough, I'll just grumble on my own. I won't let anybody see it. That was the strategy that I used to bring them together. Okay. And the trust became there. Like I said, as we round up, I am not a conventional politician.
Okay.
I am a lover of good governance. I have done all my work as a human activist. When you do the right thing, I will support you. If the present government fixes those things, they will get my support. Okay. It's not about must go to their party. No. Okay. Because going to their party now shows that you are looking for one.
You're just like every other
I don't need appointment for them, but
they
can get my support if they do the right thing.
All right. Thank you very much, Comrade Harrison Iseko, former leader, Oredo Legislative Arm. Thanks again for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
It's the TMI from our Benin Network Studio. Let's join Abuja, where Kadri is on standby with our next guest. Kadri, over to you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Duke. What an interesting discussion you have there. All right, back to Abuja Network Center. Like we said earlier, the discussion is centered on health security. You know, it's not only when a Boeing reason fall of the sky that you see people talking about, wow, air security and NCAA and those agencies concerned are not doing their jobs. And it is not only when you hear that bandits kidnap and killed or terrorists blew up, you know, some infrastructure, leaving many dead, that is the issue about insecurity. The one that is even that kills more is the non-availability of drugs. Here, vaccine preventable drugs for women and children. It kills more than these other wave of insecurity put together. And so we're talking about children who are zero dose, who have not had any form of vaccine in their lifetime. And that is why about 2 years ago, we saw that wave of diphtheria, children coming down with deformities in their mouth. And what is the reason? Because when they were given birth to, they didn't have any form of vaccine. And after 13 years, it manifested. And the same thing is still ongoing as we speak. So many children are still zero dose, over 2 million of them. What are we doing? The way out is vaccine. And bringing this vaccine, Gavi. Gavi has a certain amount of money to pay. The federal government of Nigeria equally has a certain amount of money to pay into that basket fund to have this vaccine, produced. It is not on the shelf. It is, produced on demand. 231 billion is what the federal government is supposed to pay annually for the production of these various vaccines, be it pneumococcal vaccine, measles vaccine, tetanus vaccine. The list is endless. But of that 231 billion, only 67 billion has been paid. So where are we headed? Well, to do this, I have with me a vaccine expert who is the CEO of Vaccine Network for Disease Control, Chika Ford. Very good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Okay, so let's hear your perspective concerning health security and then the inability of federal government to procure vaccine.
Okay, thank you very much. So before, let me just read some numbers so that it is clear. The birth cohort in Nigeria now, as we speak, what it means is that the number of children that are born every year is over 8 million, about 8.7 million. And those children need vaccines. Then you have the HPV vaccine. Every year
has
over newborn
8 million.
8 million plus. It's not 8 million, 8 million plus. Then young girls that need HPV vaccine, which is a killer. For vaccines, cancer, that is the cervical cancer. That is the cancer that now has a vaccine. One would think that everybody should rush and take such a one. That one is also there. And then you have security compromised places where it is difficult for them to get to these vaccines. That one is there. That is what adds up to what we are talking about today. These children need vaccines. For 2025, as we speak, the government has only released 30% of that 231 you're talking about. The Minister of Finance, Edu, promised in the joint annual review last year that he was going to pay 150 billion naira. Out of that, he said he was going to phase it. So he paid 68.7 thereabouts last year. The balance, Unko. The balance, what happens to those children? Do we want to have every day we're talking of one epidemic or the other? It's not statistics. It's about children. They have names. They are people. They are people. In one of my communities, we lost twin girls. You need to see these beautiful girls, Husseina and Asana. It is very, very important that the government takes this very, very seriously. When you look at 8.7 million children, it is not a statistics. It means 8.7 humans, human beings,
with flesh and blood.
With flesh and blood. Who, if for instance they get polio tomorrow or they get any of these diseases, can be fatal and the mortality rate would rise. I don't think that is something that we need to start to have a conversation as to should we do or should we not do. Don't you want to the health of your children? And then the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the parliamentarians, have already approved 231 billion last year. The Minister has already promised 150 billion. The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has already selected all these people to do the needful. What's the problem? What we are saying.
I want to ask you what's the problem, because
what's the problem?
You should be able to know where the problem lies.
I'm not in government. I don't know the problem. The only thing I know is that they made a promise. The Minister of Finance made a promise that he was going to release 150 billion naira as a co-financing for vaccines. He has released 68.7. Please, let him just release the balance.
So, but as we speak now, the Global Vaccine Alliance, can they not produce and supply pending when the monies are raised?
It's a co-financing obligation.
Because, it has to do with children, and when they are deformed, deformity cannot be reformed.
It's a co-financing. What it means is that Nigeria will bring, Gavi will bring. Gavi has brought their own. It's our own that is remaining. So it's a very simple thing. Do you want more children to die?
And that is why
That's the question.
We're actually thinking if Gavi can produce. So that
Gavi has
those
already
children will
given you
not
their
die.
own. It's Nigeria that owns the children. Nigeria owns the children. Nigeria should pay for vaccines. And vaccines is not something you put on the shelf like what you said. It's not as if you pay for vaccine and they will give you. Oh, it takes between 6 months. I want to celebrate the Federal Republic of Nigeria for the introduction of the measles rubella vaccine to reach over 100 million children. By the time you've reached over 100 million children, you need to replenish the vaccine that you used. Because that measles rubella reached over many children. You had HPV in that particular because it's an integrated campaign. You had vaccine, other malaria, antigen, different kinds of things. There's also all those things were put into consideration, and it was a very good campaign. And I want to thank the government for thinking of our children in that particular aspect. But in this one now, finish using the vaccine. Are you not going to for these new children that are coming? That's the question. You cannot taking care of children. Things prevent deaths. Vaccines save lives. I lost my mother to cervical cancer. I know the pain she went through. When I asked her, how is this pain? She told me it's like a woman in labor. Labor pain. But the difference is that labor pain ends once that child comes out. Yes, the pain ends.
Never ending.
It never. We don't want that for our children. Please.
Okay, but on the
vaccine.
Where are we?
3 million as we speak. Over 13 million, yes. Young girls, 9 years old.
But in other crimes, even boys are immunized against HPV.
Yes.
Can we not do it in Nigeria?
Yes. I'm sure Nigeria will do it eventually, but right now, the girls are the direct beneficiary in the sense that it is young girls that get this. It's women that get cervical cancer, carriers. So
why don't we immunize men because they are the ones who deposited there?
Yeah, so maybe in the future, who knows? But for now, they're focusing on the young girls because those young girls are the ones that are, and it's good to start to vaccinate them before they become sexually active. That is why the government is saying they're vaccinating 9-year-old girls. Yes, even as I'm talking to you now, I'm vaccinated. I paid dearly for it. But the government is purchasing those vaccines and giving it free to the young girls. So if the government is purchasing those vaccines, how about the government getting the money to actually purchase those vaccines? That's where we are. That is where. So we are begging. And then the Minister of Finance has made a promise. At the joint annual review, you were there.
Yeah, of course.
And he made a promise. So they have released 68.47 or something like that. So what about the balance?
So especially now that crude is
exactly
price is high there, about $120
exactly
per barrel. In Nigeria, we are still producing.
Exactly.
That's one revenue gate.
Exactly.
Revenue gate with the NRS.
Exactly.
FRS is still money still coming.
Money still coming.
Gate. And then we have the third gate from the Nigerian Customs.
Exactly.
Every time they celebrate what they have been able to generate for the nation, so there's money.
There's money.
So why can't we have it released?
Exactly. Why can't we have it released? That's my question. Because what we were also told is that usually the budget ends on the 31st of December. After that, whatever it is, the recurrent expenditure, whatever it is around that, you lose it. But this last one, the National Assembly approved about 11 trillion. Was it 11? Yes, about 11 trillion for recurrent expenditure. So if they've approved it as a sentence, the President of the Federal has put his signature to say, go ahead, who are they not to adhere to it?
So which means that as we speak, are you saying we're going to have more children that are at 0 dose if this money is not paid?
Yes.
To what extent? How many millions are we expecting more?
I am sure that the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria will not sit back and allow this to happen. I am sure. Nigeria cannot, they're calling zero dose.
Is he aware?
I'm sure that is why we are here and having this conversation with ITV. Yes, I'm sure now he will become aware. With you saying it, he will become aware. And then once he's aware, I am sure he will not allow it. I am sure that the Minister of Finance, who made a promise, will not fail in his promise. I am sure that they know that we just finished a measles rubella integrated campaign to reach over 100 million children. And because of that, we should expect that the vaccines would have depleted and it will need replenishment. I am sure that the Minister of Finance will not sit back and allow this to happen. I am sure that if you go to a primary healthcare center, there should be vaccines there. And if there are no vaccines there, I am sure that it cannot be funding that will disturb our country from getting that. Because as we speak right now, the money has not been released. I am sure that once they hear what we're talking about, they will do their due diligence and release money to save our children.
So where is the place of the Federal Ministry of Health, the Minister, Professor Alepati, the Minister of State?
Yes.
Talking about Dr.
So,
Isaac Salako.
Yes.
And then the man who is in charge of vaccine, the Executive Director of NPHCDA, Dr.
Yes.
Mui, I know.
Yes.
I mean, where is their places?
Yes. So we have also to them, and they have done their own due diligence, because there's a process, and the process that you make a request. That request has been made. So the request has been made to the Ministry of Finance. So once that request is made, the job is now for the Ministry of Finance to do the due diligence, take it to Accountant General's office, and the Accountant General and their own group make sure with Central Bank, make sure that the vaccines are released. The Minister of Health is not the one that pays for vaccine.
Yeah, but he should lobby. All the ministers lobby the Minister of Finance.
I'm sure he's doing.
If it's a capital project, do you think?
It's not a capital, it's a
no,
recurrent.
No, I'm saying if it's a capital,
Yes.
Ministers just like to cut ribbon. you understand? And they just like to inaugurate infrastructure, buy equipment. They just like to, something that
So,
have done this. But the one that is a bit difficult to get something out of is really lagging behind. So the minister should be lobbying like his colleagues are.
So I wanted to say something here now is that the Minister of Health is a medical doctor. The Executive Director of NPHCDA is a medical doctor. He was actually in the NGO space before. I am sure they don't know the value of vaccines. I'm sure that they are doing their own part. The Minister of Health, Professor Alepati, used to be the ED of NPHCDA at some point. And he was the Minister of State for Health at some point. So he knows what is needed. Sure, he's doing his due diligence. But when you have to move, thing is not you have to depend on another person to do it, it's a different story. The Ministry of Finance, I understand very clearly that every other MDA is on the Ministry of Finance asking for money for different things. Agrico, this one, different groups.
At the FEC.
At the FEC. Everybody is telling you, you have not paid it. Exactly. But what I'm saying today is, if you must choose Minister of Finance, please choose the health of our children. That's what I'm begging you. If you must choose. If you say the money cannot go round, please let the health be put as number one.
Did you say that the money cannot go around?
I'm just saying, because I don't know why the money has not come. Because right now, why is the money not available? He made a promise in the joint annual review last year.
It means he's sure that the money
He said 1 billion. He gave of that 7 and remaining the balance of that, which is even less than the budget. The budgeted is 231. So if you remove 68 from 231, only 30% of that amount. Even the balance of the 150, give us first. Give us first. We don't want stock out.
Give the government.
Give us.
Give the government.
Give the government.
Give the government.
Give NPHCDA. Give to them. Let them go and purchase vaccines. Give it, because UNICEF is the one that purchases vaccines for us. Make sure That's where we are.
So we're rounding up. What is, do you see any hope in sight?
I'm a very hopeful person. So I always see hope in sight. All we are saying is that, please release the money. It's not difficult to release. Now, Nigeria has more money. So what I'm saying is that we are on a line. We agree. We are trying to do many things at the same time. But I don't think health is one that one should compromise. Especially when it comes to a preventive strategy.
And for the children.
And for the children. Over 8 million children need your vaccine. The girls, the young girls need HPV vaccine. The measles rubella vaccine that makes sure that we don't have deformed children is available. We need all those vaccines. It's a preventive strategy. There's nothing better than prevention. Vaccines prevent. It's a miracle. So please, we are begging the Minister of Finance. We are begging the Accountant General. We are begging the Central Bank government. Please, we are begging you, release money so that they can buy vaccines for our children. We cannot lace illness on top of poverty.
Yeah, but you also need to speak on the issue of deformity. Let
Yes.
them also know that a child that is deformed cannot be reformed.
It cannot be, yes. If a child today, how do you even want the child to feel when a child now suddenly has polio? Or if a child has issues with his brain? We already have challenge of nutrition. And then you now lace health issues to it. If a child is born blind, or if a child has some form of deformity that could have been prevented by vaccines, how would you feel? It's not about you or me. It's about the Husseinas. It's about the Hassanas. It's about the Tundes. It's about that little girl selling akara. It's like that girl trekking to school. It's that little girl that needs to have a preventive strategy. Vaccines prevent deaths, prevent diseases. Please, we are begging. Help our children. Help the 8.7 million. Every year, another set will join. No? Every year, another set will join. So please, we are begging you. Please, buy the vaccines.
Thank you very much for your time with us on the program. We just hope that the federal government will take note of this. While they're doing the Minister of State, the Minister of
Health.
Finance,
Yes.
Finance will fulfill his promise. It does appear that they can choose where to release funds to. Since he has chosen to release less than the 231 billion budgeted to 150, we expect that should be released. When the child is deformed, the productivity of that child is gone. That child that you see ignore and the child is deformed would have been one Bill Gates that Nigeria should have, would have been one Aliko Dangote, building refineries and manufacturing products here and there, would have been one of $10, and the list is endless. So we must take deliberate steps to address these issues. In developed climes, you don't struggle over the issues of health. These are things, once a child is born, that child is followed up to about, the child is 2 years. To ensure that all the bodyguards, vaccine is
bodyguard, yes.
Yes, all the bodyguards are available added to that, so that the child is responsible in the community and of course in the country. So we must be able to toe that line and have these things done. Any concluding word from you?
Yes, concluding word. I just said yesterday there was a child that we met, a newborn baby and a 1.5 years old, not vaccinated. And when we asked the woman, why is your child not vaccinated? That her husband did not believe in vaccines before. But now, the husband now believes in vaccines. So she's going to take those 2 children to the health facility. Imagine if she gets to the health facility and there are no vaccines.
After she's now
convinced her husband to take the vaccine. What do you think will happen? That woman would have lost her. Those children would have lost them. Let's not lose our children.
All right. Thank you, Chika, for your time with us on the program. So we now move quickly to Lagos. The program this morning on ITV.
is Aqua Game, a popular game in Africa played by our ancestors to entertain themselves after each day of farming. It is also relevant in our coronation in Africa. It is a sport and indeed very interesting, as every seed had a role in the game. Playtime is 45 minutes per set. There is no age limit as long as you can spin Aqua seed. Ayo or Aqua Game, known as the game of intellectual. This game requires a lot of mathematical skills. Aqua Game is played with carved wooden box containing 12 holes.
This is Anegbete community, situated in Isako Central Local Government Area of Edo State. It is an agrarian community with united people that promotes unity and oneness for peaceful coexistence. The inhabitants of the community migrated from Benin, the cradle of black civilization, a kingdom where king is truly king. The ancestors of Anegbete saw that age was the main determinant of leadership in the rural setting, and the eldest man in the settlement was regarded as the leader who presided over meetings, and his authority is held in high esteem. To further strengthen this unique system of leadership, age group evolved in Anegbete. In Anegbete, age group is categorized into two, that is the common and the noble. Anegbete is rich in cultural heritage, as the community at noon saw the commitment of the festival with the first set roll out in beauty colors to showcase their might and strength, indicating their feet and ready for the responsibilities behold on them. The streets in the community with a feed up of young men and women adorned with the festival. Later, the royal family takes the stage as their children fight out royally and work in the community to showcase their might and fitness.
My leader.
Ugieni Madonna, imagine Overo, obviously, I'm an Ugieni Madonna.
You will have to serve the community for 30 years before you come to this stage. They will ordain you or your title. Then by then you are one of the elder.
This year now, we don't read the year, so that's why we can do this year.
Historically, joining the Elders Council, an individual must have reached a certain age and must have made significant contributions to the community through leadership, service, or other meaningful ways. There was jubilation in the community as sons and daughters of Okada, both at home and in the diaspora, trooped out to be part of the ceremony with various homes of the initiates agog with festivities. Friends and well-wishers of those initiated into the Elders Council jubilated at the Ogwedion after performing all traditional rites. The elders, known as Edion, in company with their loved ones, danced to their various homes where guests and family members were entertained.
ITV, certainly the best.
Welcome back once again to This Morning on ITV on Independent Television. We're back here in our Benin studio, and you know there's still a lot to unpack in the social and political space of Nigeria. One thing that has been in the crux of conversation everywhere on social spaces, on the net, on social media, and it's something that's also very important, especially since there's a lot of divided opinions about it, is the two-day visit of the president to the United Kingdom, where he visited King Charles and Queen Camilla. There's a lot to unpack as it comes to that particular visit. We saw the presidential statement on the itinerary of the president. He happened to travel on the 17th of March, and he did a two-day visit on the 18th of March and the 19th of March, coming back on the 20th of March. Among that itinerary is that he did have a dinner at Windsor Castle. Another thing on the list is that he got to see the royal collection and see Nigeria-related pieces. Now, that's something that's also very controversial. People are of different standpoints about that. And, this happens to be the first time in 37 years that a Nigerian president went to United Kingdom on a presidential royal visit. We saw the list of entourage of the president, different ministers actually accompanying the president. Now, there's a lot of bilateral implications of this visit, and like I did say before, a lot of different standpoints as regards, the president's two-day visit to the United Kingdom.
Absolutely. So many things to talk about, but let's start off with a lighter note. During the course of this visit, thankfully, we didn't see our president on his suits looking dapper as regards previous visit. He went on Africana, if I'm to put it that way, and also his wife as well. A lot of persons have actually spoken highly of her fashion style and how she tries to carry herself with poise, which is really beautiful. Other things that actually went down during the course of the two-day visit was the wife of the president also having to preach right there in the UK. She did deliver a sermon that was really notable. But aside all of the charade, aside all of the beautiful, amazing stuff that went down, the major, most tangible achievement of the trip is regarding the major economic deal that Nigeria and the UK did sign, the 746 million euro export finance agreement. Now, the money will be used to modernize the Lagos port complex, Apapa and Tinkan Island port. Now, a lot of conversation regarding this. There are those who would say, really, what is this money tagged? Is it a loan? Did our president go there to collect another loan? What about the repayment structure? How is it going to be done when he's no longer there? So that has also been one of the major conversations that shaped the outcome of our president's visit to the United Kingdom.
Yes, just to pitch in on that, you know, when the president was embarking on this trip, a lot of Nigerians came out to say, with the security situation we're having in Nigeria, there's a lot to focus on. What are the measures that have been put in place also to cushion the effects of the hike in petrol prices? There's no lights, Nigerians are suffering, and the president is going on luxury visits. But, you know, we've seen the dividends now of such visits.
Are we going to call it dividends? Is that
what the presidency would call it. So let me just go with that term for, you know, lack of better terming right now. Okay, well, from Windsor Castle to 10 Downing Street, where, of course, the 746 million pound deal was closed, it's just been a whole lot as regards the 2-day visit. Now, talking about that deal, we did read on one of the headlines, political, should I call it nemesis right now, from the ADC of the president coming to call it a Mugu deal. Correct. There's something about Nigerians, and these are diplomatic relations, especially with, you know, the UK, who a lot of people have seen as exploiters in the past, you know, exploiters of resources and exploiters basically of, you know, what Nigeria has to offer. And there's a lot of skepticism, just like you mentioned, you know, people of the standpoint that, what is this? Is this some solidarity, some charity scheme of the United Kingdom, or is it just another credit deal that Nigeria is, you know, taking from the UK to finance these ports? And there's just a whole lot. And then coming back, we also saw, you know, the president have a call with the French president, Emmanuel Macron, about the security situation in Nigeria, where he has said that he's going to put in all of his resources into empowering Nigeria toward, you know, just having a safer society. Well, it's just been a lot. Now back to the UK, back to the president's 2-day visit in the UK. That's 746 million pound deal.
That is a lot. That is a lot. But let's even look at how it's going to impact Nigeria and also the UK perhaps. So according to what I have here, it says that it's going to improve port efficiency and reduce congestion. That's number one. Number two, it's going to boost Nigeria's trade capacity and also create contracts for the UK companies. So let's say it's a two-way street, and the UK is going to benefit, and also here in Nigeria, we're going to benefit it in the long run. But another conversation a lot of persons keep on having is all of this visit to France, the UK, Europe, what benefit does it have to Nigeria as a whole and also Nigerians? Are we going to see a quick repercussion, a quick impact on all of the visits to the UK is another major question. As regards strengthening bilateral relations, that has always been on the front burner of how the president would usually go visit all the countries to ensure that the bilateral relation is really strengthened. But away from that, moving forward, how are we going to see that impact? Let's not forget right now we are dabbling with petrol hike in price. Just recently, the Dangote refinery did increase it. As of yesterday, going to a particular petrol station, fuel is now being sold for 1,350 naira.
Some are even selling for 1.4 pump price.
Are you sure we're not going to get to 1,500 naira per liter?
I would hope not, because it's really something else. It's increased. Yeah. It's causing an increase in transportation, and also coupled with the fact that I will continue to say that there's no light, electricity, you know, cost of running businesses have gone up, which definitely does affect other facets of the community, other facets of, you know, daily life right here in Nigeria. If transportation increases, you definitely know, even, you know, the farmers bringing produce to the city area, everything is affected.
Yeah, I always would say it's interesting to see how fuel tends to have this interconnectivity with all other sector in the economy, that once the price of fuel goes up, every other thing would just go up and inflation would just be on. Right now, the cost of living, some persons would say, is truly killing the living. I mean, blackout, different nook and cranny. And I don't know if it's a good trait that we have as Nigerians to be able to adapt to any situation. Aside the insecurity situation in the country we're currently facing, during the course of the visit to the UK, we saw the president did send the vice president, Kashim Shettima, who's from Borno State and also two-time governor of Borno State, down there to liaise with these persons and see if we would have a lasting solution to it. And we also saw the service chiefs go down there to do whatever they did. And interestingly, they had some good reactions or good outcome from their visit. But away from that, there's insecurity, there is light. Right now, what Nigerians are using to put back on the president is that beautiful speech that has now gone viral all over social media and also offline, where he did say that if he doesn't give us electricity within the next 6 months, do not vote for him. He's not going to come out for a second term. And now he's coming out for a second term, and he definitely wants to win. Now, this is the same president that has, you know, the federal government has bought the solar panels right there in the presidential villa. And I mean, just a lot of things to talk about. So, with all of the things that is going on in the country and the outcome of the visit to the president and his entourage and his wife to the UK, what immediate benefit would Nigerians get from this?
Yes, exactly. Beyond the theatrics of, you know, saying that you're closing a £746 million deal, beyond the theatrics of saying you had a phone call with the French president, Emmanuel Macron, and then there's dividends coming through. What are the actual evidences of all of this? Because right now it's just talk, it's just theatrics. And you did you know, highlight a viral video where the president said he shouldn't be voted again if he's not able to bring constant light in Nigeria. In fact, I would even say before the president got in, we even had a better light situation than we're having right now. And also the fact that they've been able to exempt themselves from the effects of all of this by installing, you know, solar. It's just so crazy to see how much the faith of people have diminished in the Nigerian government and in their capability to, you know, to give light to the people, which is just, I would say, is just a small thing. But if something like security cannot be prioritized, is light really a small thing? Electricity is also a big thing if people cannot even be safe. People in places like Maiduguri and the Northeast and, you know, the northern states, the Middle Belt communities, they are constantly saying all they want is safety. Look at the issue of what went down in, you know, Maiduguri. And even though we have the Vice President Kashim Shettima going there during the Eid al-Fitr celebrations, the fact is that it has happened. These are promising lives that have been lost. These are people and communities that are constantly being affected by these issues. You know, so beyond these visits, I can actually say and come and see reason to, you know, Nigerians out there that are saying, stop going on visits, because we are not seeing the dividends of these visits, if not for the intervention of maybe the U.S. presidents that I would say kind of has them a bit shaken. All of these diplomatic relations, what has it really done to help Nigerians?
Perhaps maybe it's just for personal gains for the president himself, because let's not forget the former president also did likewise. It was always out there on one trip or the other. And another conversation we should have is the monies that are being spent on all of these trips. Now, the last one that we had to the UK, we saw a lot of persons who went there. About 9 ministers went there. The Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, was in suit. Interestingly, we also saw the Minister of Tourism and Entertainment. She was also there as well. A lot of persons. And the cost of taking all of those persons down there, the governor of
Imagine,
Lagos
did you
State,
see his entourage in this one? In
The-
fact,
the governor of Lagos
almost the
State.
whole ministerial team was with him.
Yeah, they also will tell you that when it reaches your turn, do not go. I mean, 37 years.
Yeah, that was what.
Oh no, I don't know, but
Yeah.
But I mean, the monies is just too much, and all of those monies would have been channeled to better things. The other time we heard that the federal government was owing electricity distribution companies dragging, and that was totally disgraceful for a country like Nigeria that has also been on. And still back to the power situation, trying to marry everything down. Now, NLC is seeking a merger of petroleum power ministries to curb blackout. If that would even work or see the light of the day is another question. We keep going on back and forth with all of this, and this is where we are.
Oh my, thank you so much, Anu, for that very insightful disposition. Just so we don't leave Joseph Kadiri out right there in Abuja, he is standing by and he will give his take on this conversation. Joseph, we are talking about the president's 2-day visit to the United Kingdom, and what they've come out to tell Nigerians are the dividends of these visits, talking about the £746 million port financing deal, and you know, just all of that, the intricacies and the implications. Let's have your take.
All right, it's a very beautiful discussion we're having, and you know, when it comes to the issue of bilateral relationship, it is always good when the CMC, the president of a country or prime ministers other countries have them, you know, to always, you know, be at the forefront to negotiate for these discussions, because it's one of the things that you attract to your country that improves life and well-being of the people economically. Because you know that there's no economy that operates closed door. Even the economies that tried it, they crashed. So in one way or the other, your doors have to be open. You give and you take. You look at your advantage. If it's comparative, if it's absolute, you just walk in that direction so that what you do not have, other countries will give you. And what other countries don't have that you have, you supply them. I'm sure that's what the president has been able to attract for the nation. And you know, the revenue from the gate of the port, you know, where you have the NIMASA, where you have the MPA, any ship that docks, pay some amount of money to the coffers of the federal government, just as when plane lands in any airport, as soon as that plane touches the tarmac, that the government of that nation is expecting some amount of money. The same thing with the ports. But you need to develop some areas in such a way that you have, you know, more ship coming into your waterways, and they also have enough space to, you know, dock so that they can actually be comfortable and pay and stay and also load and move. That increases the revenue base of the country. And with what the president has done in the coming days, I am 100% sure that it will contribute to GDP of Nigeria. You know, we are talking about a season where there is so much less talk about, you know, dependence on oil. And so the non-oil export is what most time we see president of nation, including Nigeria, explore each time they have opportunity to dialogue or discuss or have a discussion with their foreign counterpart. And so it's kudos for Nigeria, thumbs up for the president. We hope to see more, and what is coming, we hope that it will be judiciously used. Of course, such kind of money are always used for the purpose for which they are giving, because those who give the money are always, you know, supervising and monitoring what they have given.
All right, thank you so much, Joseph, for your disposition there. I like the positivity that you got to put into that, talking about you're 100% sure that, you know, this would have a positive effect on our economy. Well, let's see how this goes down. We've talked about the implications, the intricacies of the president's 2-day visit to the United Kingdom from Windsor Castle to 10 Downing Street, where he got to see the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer and strike a £746 million deal. Well, this is still TMI. And this is where we wrap it up. We'll go on an intermission now, after which we'll have the news update. Stay tuned.
Hello, welcome to the news update on ITV. I am Anuluwakbo Stevens. Community policing in collaboration with security agencies have been identified as a key solution to kidnapping and other security challenges affecting several communities across Edo State. This was the outcome of a security meeting between heads of security agencies and community leaders held on Saturday at the Palace of the Onoji of Uromi. His Royal Highness Anselm Edo Onoji II. Edo Central correspondent Chris Omije reports.
The security meeting, attended by heads of security agencies, led by the Edo State Commissioner of Police, CP Monday Agbonika, the Commander, Forward Operation Base Uromi, Major B.A. Adeleke, DSS officials, and other sister security agencies, was convened at the instance of the Onoji of Uromi, His Royal Highness Anselm Edo Onoji II. The meeting held at his palace aimed at addressing the prevailing security challenges affecting Uromi community and other parts of Esan land. In his opening remarks, the Onoji of Uromi, His Royal Highness Anselm Edo Onoji II said a meeting of this nature became necessary to enable community dwellers present their experience to security agencies. Some community leaders who took turns to narrate their ordeals lamented the rising rate of kidnapping in their various communities.
Our king have taken the bull by the horn in the terms of insecurity in this our community. That is why he cries out today that we should come to his aid to make sure that there is peace and stability in our communities. Responding, the Edo State Commissioner of Police, CP Monday Agbonika, recommended strategies to curb the menace and appeal for greater cooperation with the police.
The Community Safety Partnership is a situation whereby the people in Uromi are going to work together with all the stakeholders, all the key stakeholders within the communities to ensure that we tackle whatever problems we identify as a major concern to us.
The meeting is expected to provide lasting solution to the security challenges faced by residents of Uromi and its environs in recent times. In Uromi, Chris Omije, ITV News.
As the tempo of political activities gathers momentum ahead of the local government election in Edo State, Ambassador Comrade Ottahagwa Justice Ndidi has formally declared his intention to contest the chairmanship seat of Igwebe local government under the platform of the All Progressive Congress, APC. Francisca reports that Ambassador Ottahagwa Ndidi, who is a businessman, hails from a Akpon community. The report is presented by Thomas Sado.
In his remarks, Ambassador Ottahagwa Ndidi said his decision to vie for the chairmanship position in the forthcoming local government election was born out of his commitment to serve the people of Igwebe local government area with sincerity, dedication, and integrity. The chairmanship aspirant said his ambition is driven by a genuine desire to attract progress, unity, and sustainable development to Igwebe local government area.
I seek for your support to run for council chairman. I will not disappoint any of you. If given this opportunity, I will carry everybody along.
Ambassador Ndidi assured party members, leaders, supporters, and the electorate that if given the opportunity, he would work tirelessly to improve the welfare of the people and promote inclusive governance.
I've done a lot with my personal money. I will not be elected in any position. I have not been appointed. If I be given this opportunity, that will show that I will do more for my people.
Some APC leaders in their remarks advised Ambassador Ndidi to come up with a clear agenda and workable plans for Akpon, his community, and Igwebe local government area. He described Ambassador Ottahagwa as a man who understands the needs and aspirations of his people.
We have carefully listened to you. The leaders will sit down and look at everybody that is contesting. From there, everybody will know the stance.
He has given his time, his resources, and energy to see the progress of APC in Edo State.
Let's just keep our finger crossed for him. He will get there.
They highlighted Ambassador Ndidi's contribution to the development of Igwebe local government area to include provision of scholarship for school children, support for medical and healthcare outreach programs, amongst others. Dignitaries present include former Speaker, Edo State House of Assembly, Dr. Justin Okonobo. Thomas Sado, ITV News.
Now, still on the political front, ahead of primaries for political parties to nominate candidates as the 2027 general election approaches, Engineer Paul Ogedegbe has formally declared interest in contesting the Esa West, Esa Central, Igwebe Federal House of Representatives constituency seats under the platform of the All Progressive Congress, the APC. The report by Francisca Inewebe is presented by Femi Fariola.
As part of consultations and grassroots engagements, the House of Representatives aspirant, Engineer Paul Ogedegbe, embarked on a series of visits to APC secretariats in Edo Central Senatorial District. His first port of call was the APC secretariat in Esan West, Esan Central, and Igweben local government areas. During the visits, Engineer Ogedegbe addressed party leaders and faithful, where he officially unveiled his ambition to represent the constituency at the National Assembly. He assured party stakeholders of his commitment to promoting the welfare and overall well-being of the people if given the mandate.
I've supported roughly almost about 300 to 600 widows in this town. For last year alone, I gave over 33 cars. A leadership starts from the first day. I had the opportunity to sit down with the governor. From the first day he won, I rode with him from his house in Jare to Oshomole's house. What he told me that everything I say, I will do it.
The reception across the various locations was warm and encouraging. Party leaders, ward executives, and members expressed their support and offered prayers for his success in his political aspiration.
Such a man is a man that we reckon with, is a man that we embrace.
I can vividly say that when he gets to Abuja, his promises will never fail.
Ward chairmen from Ward 1 to Ward 10 were present at the meetings, alongside party chairmen from each of the local government areas visited. Among prominent personalities in attendance were the APC State Vice Chairman, Honorable Sylvester Aibobo, Chairman of Esan West Local Government, key stakeholders, and party faithful. The consultation train proceeded to Irua, headquarters of Esan Central Local Government Area, where Engineer Ogedegbe visited the party secretariat and thereafter extended his engagement to Igweben Local Government Area. They said, despite several aspirants vying for the same position, the APC leadership would work towards harmonization and due process in determining who secures the party's ticket. Oluwafemi Farayola, ITV News.
Meanwhile, residents of Ute community in Uode local government area, Edo State, have appealed to Governor of Edo State, Senator Mondo Pebolo, His Royal Majesty Oba Ewaya II, and other relevant authorities to rescue them from alleged harassment, violent attacks, destruction of property, and abduction of the chief priest of the community by a member of the community known as Billy Oraiki. Osemudeme Osage tells us more.
According to members of Ute community, tension was heightened following an overnight attack on the residence of the chief priest of the community, known as Uhe, by suspected thugs, during which properties were vandalized, valuables destroyed, and Uhe was said to have been kidnapped. The community members also added that the attackers targeted the home of the newly installed Okaigele, known as youth leader. The protesters, including elders, women and youth, called on Edo State government, Oba of Benin and security agencies to urgently intervene in restoring peace to the community, while accusing a member of the community, known as Billy Oriaki, of orchestrating the attacks and kidnap of the Uhe.
I believe you do Fiona. I may Fiona Kohe Kobia, Mamion. I believe. Oh boy, the Mabemana. Oh, we may no fee or not to start. A Billy already Rasonia. Who why you here? Nula wo. Oh, Pebo. Esima radio. Buma de. Uteno la wo la. You want to go?
Excellency Governor Monday Okpebolo to come to our rescue. Since the inception of Ute have been known for peace. Ute is a very peaceful community. It was when Billy Oriaki came to power that we started having problems. He came with talks, they took our OM, and this same Billy wrote a letter to the community that I'm holding on my hand now, that he has resigned from the Okaigele, that he wants to go into politics after ruling for 9 years.
Reacting to the allegations, Billy Oriaki denied any knowledge of kidnapping within the community, but stated that the Uhe was arrested by members of security agency.
It was the police that came to arrest him. As we speak, he is with the police. I'm using this to debunk the allegation of the kidnapped Uhe.
From Benin, Osemudeme Osage, ITV News.
Activities lined up for the funeral of late Prince Augustine Agwobasinwi Irobu Eweka have begun in Benin City with a procession, tribute, and candle night. Children, family members, friends, and well-wishers at the event described the late Prince Augustine Agwobasinwi Eweka as a loving and caring father, selfless and honest statesman who has impacted positively on the lives of many. Ikponwusa Ugiabre reports.
Street procession in honor of late Prince Augustine Agwobasinwi Iobun Eweka from Ogbe to his residence on Airport Road in Benin City to commence his rites of passage. This was followed by an evening of tribute where dignitaries from all walks of life, including the clergy, captains of industry, former secretary to Edo State government Pastor Osage Ize-Iyamu, and many others were in attendance. They described the late Prince Augustine Agwobasinwi Iobun Eweka as a man who listens and provides solutions to issues brought before him.
An amazing, passionate, and caring father who is so passionate about the children's welfare.
He was a legend. He was my great advisor. He always advised me.
My dad was not just my father. He was my best friend and my guardian.
Our father, our mentor, is a reputable icon in Benin City.
He
was an amazing father. He was my best friend. He was a civil engineer. I was also a civil engineer.
He taught me a lot of things, which is something that still helps me today as a priest. And one of those things is the virtue of patience. He is one who fears and cherishes God.
The Beninese have lost a good son. This is a man who stood in the forefront of protecting the interests of the Beninese.
Prince Austin Eweka was a very great man, a great Edo son, a man of impeccable character, very honest man.
It was a time for sober reflection as candles were lit in honor of the late Prince Augustine Agwabasimi Iyobun Eweka, who died at the age of 73. The funeral ceremony continues on Monday with Vigil Mass at 4 p.m. at his residence on Airport Road. Ikmomosa Ugiagbe, ITV News.
The Anointed Brethren Church 2-day Super Breakthrough program has been concluded with a miracle Sunday service in Benin City. Pius Usogo reports that the program with the theme Arriving at My Canaan Land, which drew worshippers from all walks of life, also featured the ordination of 2 members as pastors.
The service began with the church auditorium, transformed into a sanctuary of faith and expectation. Soul-lifting worships alongside choir ministrations filled the air with an undeniable sense of God's presence. Delivering a life-transforming message, the Bishop, Anointed Brethren Church Incorporated, Right Reverend Charles Okundige, emphasized that perseverance and obedience to God's word will enable the worshippers to achieve their aims in life.
I want you to know, every difficulty you are experiencing right now, God did not set it for you. The word of God says, beloved is my desire, that thou mayest prosper and be in good health. 2 things God so much want for us, prosperity and good health.
High point of the service was the ordination of 3 members of the church as pastors.
I anoint you, and I commission you. You are Pastor Ernest Urubo. As I lay my hands upon every one of you, I transfer to you the grace to excel as a minister. Amen.
I feel very, very great. I want to appreciate God for this great opportunity given to me.
When you have the call of God, there's an urgency for it. I feel very, very blessed and I feel happy.
I'm very excited. I thank God because I know it's the will of God for me to serve Him.
The ordination was great, and the people that were ordained, they are wonderful.
The program was a huge success, and we give the Lord all the praise for it.
The event featured fervent prayer sessions where worshippers laid their burdens at the altar and sought divine interventions.
The Miracle Sunday was a celebration of faith and thanksgiving for the spiritual breakthrough experience during the 3 days. From Anointed Brethren Church, Benin City, Pius Usogo, ITV News.
And that ends the news at this time. Thank you so much for watching. Up next is TMI Socials.
ITV, certainly the best.
Good morning. This is TMI Socials. Welcome on board. I am Nuoluwa Paul Stevens. Or better still, call me a social media butterfly. Now today we start with the biggest story that made headlines over the weekend, as the federal government has ordered the arrest and persecution of perpetrators of alleged sexual assault linked to a local festival in Ozora community, Delta State. Imam Sulaiman Ibrahim, the Minister of Women Affairs and Social Development, gave the directive in a statement signed by the ministry's head, Press and Public Relations, Ahmed Dabzu, on Friday in Abuja. This comes after a video went viral on social media on Thursday alleging indices of sexual assault during the Al-Dual Festival, regarded as Festival of Fertility in Ozora community. Let's take a look.
Today is Ozora Raping Feast. All females are to stay indoors.
Now, reacting to this, the OVA of Ozora community, the kingdom, has also had a statement been made. Let's take a listen.
Of the truth, so came to you, tell you that I want to serve our identity.
You did not answer the question. I'm sure you were supposed to answer the question. Did you come to tell me?
No. No, sir.
Sit down. Did you tell the president?
No, sir. Okay.
The whole world.
My phone is serious this morning. I have more than 200 photographs and videos of what transpired yesterday. I'm highly embarrassed. Kings, government officials.
Now, for more on this story, let's join Comrade Samson. He is the NANS JCC chairman, live there in Delta State, Nigeria. Good morning, Comrade Samson, if you can hear me. What really went down in Ozora? Because it was all over social media being tagged as a rape festival. And we also did find that it's not that, it's a festival of fertility. Can you tell us what went down, the eyewitness report? Comrade Samson, if you can hear me. Okay, so whilst we're trying to regain connectivity with Comrade Samson, let's move over and have one reaction on this ongoing development. Already we're aware that some arrests have been made by the Delta State Police Command. Okay, Comrade Samson, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I can hear you now.
Please go ahead in just a few seconds. What really went down right there in Ozora on Thursday?
Okay. An announcement was made by by that particular community. It's called the Ramudu community, for the Aluedo Festival. It's called Aluedo Festival, which is a festival of fertility for barren women. And this announcement was made without even consulting.
Okay, so if we can get back to him, we definitely will. But let's move over to have one reaction on the story, if we can. Now, this user online says, imagine your mother, sister, or daughter running for her life from a gang because of a so-called festival rite. Ozora videos are heartbreaking proof that some traditions belong in the dustbin of history. Real men protect, not prey. Time to rise up against this evil. Well, it's an ongoing one, and we'll definitely keep you up to speed with the latest development. Away from that, let's go over to Kano State, where a major political development unfolded yesterday in Kano as two prominent Nigerian political figures, Peter Obi and Rabiu Kwankwaso, came together in what observers are describing as one of the biggest coalition moves ahead of future elections. Now, the meeting, which took place in Kano State, has sparked widespread reactions across the political landscape, with supporters and analysts speculating about the potential implications of such an alliance. Take a look. Okay. So I think we have Comrade Samson back. Comrade, if you can hear me, please go ahead with what is going on now, the latest development on the story in Ozoro.
All right, so the Aluedo Festival is supposed to be a festival of fertility for barren women, but unfortunately, we have youths there are youths currently today who have callous mindsets. And instead of telling any lady they see to go back, they chose that they want to start harassing them, assaulting them. Fortunately, nobody was raped as against what was alleged on the social media, because we did our fact findings, we did our research, we went down to the community, and we also engaged the king.
Okay, Comrade Samson, thank you so much. Well, you heard it from him, who went there to see the OV of Ozoro community. He said that nobody was raped as regards to what has been flying on social media. Now, let's get back to what went down yesterday in Kano State over the weekend. Barricker Day Seller. Moving over to reactions, let's see what you have been saying online. As this user says, is Kwankwaso coming to ADC? Good question. Another user reacting to this one wrote, if we were to be honest, Peter Obi, Kwankwaso doesn't have what it takes to win Tinubu. As it stands, Peter Obi can only win Southeast, while Kwankwaso will struggle to win Kano. You think so? Another user on X. Okay, I think that's all we have on that story. But finally on TMI socials, Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde, while celebrating Salah with soldiers on Friday, called for improved welfare for military personnel, saying the sacrifices made by men and women in uniform deserve greater attention and support. Now, in a video that has now gone viral, we saw the state governor Seyi Makinde feeding the soldiers serving at the event. Let's take a look. Oh, well, what do you call this? Politics or just social? Well, we'll find out from what you have been saying online. This user wrote, all the governors go still later turn chef, and Kayinde is laughing out loud online. Another user reacting to this one also says, if we could have another tweet, this user wrote, this one says, the same Seyi Makinde that refused to give Oyo State Amoteku Corps appointment and confirmation letter after serving Oyo State for more than 5 years, those guys don't have ranks, no promotions, no pension, no retirement benefits, no job security for them. Charity begins at home. Absolutely. And on that note, we wrap up TMI Socials this morning. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. I am Anuoluwapo Stevens. And from all of us on This Morning on ITV, we'll see you again tomorrow.